I don't know if it was Haas's decision on their own or if like their other sponsors were sort of pressuring them, but they decided to pull that Russian sponsor, which which was why they kind of went up in my livery list.
Yes.
But yeah, there's that, and this is them removing the sponsor is going to have a huge implication for their season, because not only are they losing a lot of money, but they could be losing a driver. They haven't commented on exactly the decision they're going to make. I think we'll see what that is this week. Hopefully in the next episode, we'll be able to have an answer for that. But yeah, it's crazy. It's just, and the fact that this is happening so early into the season, so deep and like into the testing, like the ball's already rolling, and now this crap is happening. It's mind-boggling. It really is. And of course they canceled the Russian GP, so I don't know. I think they claim Gunther Steiner, the race director for Haas, said that they're going to be fine without that sponsor, that there's other, like they have a war chest or whatever it's called. He said that they're going to be fine for the season, but I don't know, man. I don't know if you have any other views on that or your hindsight, but it's crazy.
Anyone that's watched Drive to Survive, I can just picture Gene Haas having that conversation with Gunther and being like, I can't keep putting more money into this thing. Like, we're not making any money here. But yeah, there's no way for them to know. And for this to happen now, right before the season, and everyone knows Mazepin, he's a pay driver. He's widely regarded as, let's say, the least good driver on the grid. But yeah, it's unfortunate. And his comments this week didn't do him any favors. It's a tough situation to be in, but and like he probably has to go back and live in Russia. So I mean, it's tough to come out against it. It's gonna be really interesting to see how they deal with the fallout without having their main sponsor. And then the other kind of wrinkle to that is we've seen Andretti Racing has been very vocal about trying to get into the sport. Apparently they've been trying to buy Haas for the last 2 years, and they've been unsuccessful. And now the F1's saying maybe in 2024 they're gonna have to pay a $200 million fee, which they're saying no problem. They can find that in their couch cushions essentially. And so that's something that, I mean, I think it's probably too late for that to happen, but I mean, there is a world and a possibility that Andretti becomes that main sponsor. I have no idea. And I think right now the discussions of who would replace Mazepin if that were to happen, because his dad is, I don't exactly know his ties, but he's like the main stakeholder in the company that was sponsoring them or something of that nature. So really, without those ties, there's no real reason to keep Nikita as their driver unless it's just too far down the road. But I guess what they've discussed is Giovinazzi or Nico Hülkenberg are the two leading candidates. But who knows? If Andretti were to get that sponsorship, he's been very vocal about in IndyCar. He has a team, Andretti, and their number one driver is, I believe he's 21 years old, Colton Herta. And he's like a really talented up and coming driver. He's the youngest driver to win an IndyCar race. He won 3 races last year. His dad was like a very successful race car driver himself, as many drivers are. So that'd be very interesting, especially like as we said at the top of the podcast, like the growing market in North America for the sport. It's not an untapped market, but it's a huge market that they obviously want to capitalize on. They're already adding another race. The numbers through the roof. Netflix is thriving, blah, blah, blah. But if that were to happen, that'd be huge for the audience of the US to get an American driver, and a young American driver that I don't think he has his super license yet. But I think if you were to finish top four this year in Indy, and also F1 has the ability to just say like, no, we think you're good enough, we'll give you the super license, which kind of defeats the purpose of it all. But so that would be, I know it's a bit of a tangent. I'll stop with my low rant, but it was it's an interesting little wrinkle that whether it happens in 2 years or it happens this year or next year. And I think Andretti Racing, it seems at this point it's almost inevitable that they're going to get into the sport. So whether it's an 11th team or they replace another team, it remains to be seen, but it'll be very interesting.
I think what you said is exactly on the money. It's a really tough situation for Gene Haas and Gunther, because, without obviously, I'm sure they care about Nikita, and I'm sure they are very fond of him as a person, but with just his track record as a driver, he's obviously the worst driver on the grid. To me, I think he's the worst, and statistically, he's also
I
the
agree.
worst. But there's just really no reason to keep him, and especially being an American team, I think the potential to have an American driver, if they were to go that route with Andretti, could be a really great potential boost for them, honestly, and for the sport itself. I don't know if that's something that Haas is even considering, and if it's not, then I really do genuinely hope that the FIA allows Andretti to join in 2024, because I think there needs to be some fresh faces in the sport, more competition, which could be scary to some of the other teams. But yeah, I hope that's the route that it goes, because the whole situation is just not great.